you said, the history, and you start thinking back, especially for me, you know, my history, and I touched on Ted Williams. Even being a kid, knowing, you know, the stature that he was and what he represented, not only as a baseball player, but as, you know, as a fighter pilot, just being this larger-than-life figure. And I started thinking, you know, I'm going into the same hall that Ted Williams has gone into, and it's just, it's overwhelming, you know. And like I said, I mean, I'm deeply in faith, and I just started praying. I was like, again, you know, let me get through this. Let me get through this. Let me get. And I was kidding with Ken before we went up on the stage. I was like, we got this, man. We got this. Let's do it. Let's do it. So we're trying to psych each other up. Didn't work. No, we're like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. And then he starts speaking, looking at his dad, and his dad starts crying. I'm like, I'm done. Where I'm looking at my dad, and he's over there like this, I'm like, oh, here we go, bro. I got a cute text from Jimmy Kimmel, and he said, real men cry at funerals and when they get inducted to the Hall of Fame.
I thought one of the things that was really great about this weekend was the re-celebration of what baseball did 15 years ago after 9/11. And you both are so involved. I mean, Mike, of course, being in New York, and Ken, your relationship with the Marino family. You just talk about what it meant to have 9/11 be a major part of this weekend with the two of you.
I'll go first. Go ahead, Ken.
For me, it's, you know, when I was in Chicago when it happened, and I was watching CNN, and I thought it was a movie trailer. And because I just woke up, and then I started, you know, my phone started ringing, and then it called, the hotel called and said, hey, we may have to evacuate because the John Hancock Center is right next door. So we were like, oh, this is real. And, you know, the team started calling, and then we ended up having to, we stayed there a couple days, and we drove back to Cincinnati. And when we went to Philly, the Reds got an email from Mr. Marino, and it was, hey, if Ken can hit a home run, you know, an extra home run, it would make Kenny proud if we lost him in 9/11. And a couple years before that, he gave me a t-shirt, a little fireman's t-shirt. He says, everybody wants something from you. I want to give something to you. And I took the t-shirt, and Trey wore it for a couple years, and then all of a sudden this happened. And I hit the home run, and it was one of those things, is once I hit first base, I try not to get emotional running around the bases, but I knew that this was something that was bigger than baseball. It was somebody who could have a smile, the family could smile about something. And then after the game, I had the press conference, and the first thing I said is, when we get to New York, I want to meet him, because I haven't even met him yet. And yesterday, excuse me, I had an opportunity to see him again for the first time in a couple of years. I can't believe how tall they've gotten. And he, you know, starting to look like their dad, and you can see, you know, it's real emotional for me and them. And she's like, I'm coming down to Florida. I'm like, okay, when? She's like, anytime. So they're gonna come to Florida and hang out with me, and, you know, we're gonna break bread again.